Hello. We want to welcome you to the SunnySide Community Voice. We're back in the studio. We've been out for a while, but we are back in the studio now, and we're going to start 2012 with some good shows. And today we have a very exciting show. We have with us today our own Constable May Walker. She's here with us, and of course Pastor Nash, our president and CEO, is here. And we're just going to really just get into a good spirited conversation. We want to talk to our constable about some of the things that is her concern. She is the constable over at Precinct 7, and we're just really glad to have her here with us. And we're just going to get started. We're going to let her introduce herself to our audience, and we've got some talking points that we're going to talk on. She has some information that she wants to get out to our community. So, Constable Walker, I'm just so glad to have you here with us today.
Well, I'm so glad to be here with you, and thanks so much for inviting me. I am Constable May Walker at Harris County Precinct 7, and what I find as I travel over the city that most people don't know what constables do.
Right.
And I was so happy you invited me so I could explain to people what constables do.
Thank you so much.
And you know, a lot of people don't know that constables were the first form of law enforcement in England way back. It came, you know, to the States, and we have constables all over Texas and in some of the other states. But in Houston, Texas, we have 8 constables to cover all the parts of the city of Houston. And I am the constable over Precinct 7 that covers southeast and southwest Houston. And the constables have a very vital and important role because we are law enforcement agencies. When the constables first started in the city of Houston, their main responsibility was serving the writs of the courts.
Right.
And writs of the courts mean like divorces, eviction, and child support, and all of these things that comes from the court. And later on in the 2000, well, really in 1900, people decided, well, you know, the constables is in our neighborhoods, and why shouldn't they do everything that other law enforcement agencies?
Exactly.
So constables started to, of course, our primary duty is to serve the writs of the court, those areas that I talked about. Just like the Houston Police Department's main duty is to patrol the city of Houston. And the Sheriff Department main duties is incarceration, and they do some patrolling too. And you know, like the Metro, their jurisdiction is the area of the buses. And what we do, the biggest portion of my department is civil process. That's where we serve the writs of the court. But I also have contract patrolling, and the constable is the only office in Houston that do contract patrolling. Contract patrolling is where you as a community can come to me and say, I would like to hire a deputy to patrol my neighborhood. And you get a contract with the county, and this deputy, you can choose as many as you want to. They patrol your specific geographic area only. They don't patrol outside. They don't run calls in the other parts of Precinct 7. They run calls 5 days a week, 40 hours a week, 5 days a week and 40 hours a day in your area. And it's a very good patrol, but of course, a lot of us in different communities such as mine, we don't have homeowners association, and we can't afford contract patrol. So the contract patrol is basically in some of the areas that have homeowners association where they've been assessed. And some neighborhoods that have civic clubs, they've got together with several civic clubs, and they've hired a deputy to patrol their area, and it's a very successful program. And if you do statistics on it, you will see the people that have homeowners contract, their crime is very low to zero. So it's a very good program. And then I have an area where my people just patrol the whole precinct, which is divided into district. I have District 1, which is in the 3rd Ward and the downtown area, and I have District 2 is in the South Park and Sunnyside area. District 3 is in the Alameda and Hiram Clark area and Post Oak, and District 4 is in the West Belfort area. And I have officers that patrol that area too. So we have been very successful. We're a very small department. We only have 140 deputies, but we do a lot because we cover a kind of controlled geographic area.
Right.
And of course, thank to God, we have the Houston Police Department who work very closely with us when there are some things that they can't get to, we get through. And if they're in Precinct 7, we get there real quick. We don't have a big problem with response time because my area is not like the Houston Police Department that covers the whole city of Houston. And then, of course, we have a few county areas. Some of the constables, their geographic area that they patrol is only county areas. But my area is an area that's overlapping with the city of Houston. And we've been real successful. When I was elected in 2005 and I came here, I decided that I wanted to do some other things for the community. I know the most important aspect is to stop crime, eliminate crime, or suppress it. You will never eliminate crime. And so we are doing that. And I also implemented some programs in
I was going to ask you about that, about some of the programs that that you do have. And I appreciate you explaining that to us, Constable, because a lot of people don't know what you do. They look at you as just law enforcement. They don't know what areas you control. And a lot of people that are sitting out there now from you can appreciate what the constable's office actually does, and look like you do a lot.
We do a lot.
You handle a lot for our precinct, and we would like to know some of the programs that you've implemented, that you have going on now that you're in, that you are the constable of Precinct 7.
Well, when I came there, we implemented several programs, and one of the programs that is really, really important that I thought would really help the community and that has never been in our community in that southeast and southwest part of town was the Victims Assistance Program. That's a program that's been around for decades. It's a program that have millions of dollars in it because it's a program where when someone is incarcerated, they have to pay the court, and part of the money goes into this fund for if they cause some kind of harm to a victim. And those funds have been just mounting up because a lot of departments never implemented them, and a lot of departments didn't know about them. And we got victim because my chief came from Metro, and Metro did have a victims assistance unit, and we were very successful with that. And my chief, Chief Gorey Anderson, wanted us to implement the Victims Assistance Program, and we did, and it has been just tremendous. Any person in the city of Houston, I have the program for Precinct 7, but anybody in the city of Houston, if you're a victim of a crime, and not a burglary or stuff like that, if you have been hurt by a suspect, or you get beat up or shot or whatever kind of victimized you know that has happened to you, you can come to our office, and we have a coordinator, and she can fill out the forms if unfortunately somebody in your family was a victim of crime where they were maybe killed, and you don't have the money to bury them or give them a service. The Victims Assistance Program can do that immediately.
That's great.
Because we're connected directly to Austin. my person at Precinct 7 can fill out those forms and get you those funds
Wow.
right away.
Wow.
And so we're just really pleased about that. And our victims coordinator, what she does, she looks at the news and she listens to the radio and any way that she can find a person in Precinct 7. And we usually deal with people in Precinct 7 called the Houston Police Department also help victims with crime. But if you're somewhere else and you come to us first, we will take care of you. And that's been a program that has just been outstanding for the people in our community.
Really
you know,
good.
they can pay for you to go to doctor, they can pay if you need psychological help, or if you've been off of work, they can pay for you the days you off of, I mean, just all sorts of things. And we encourage your listening audience, if they know anybody that's been a victim of a crime, get a hold to our office, Harris County Precinct 7. And another program that we implemented at Precinct 7 was, I know coming up in the church that the most important entity in our community is the ministers. They reach more people than any entity in the world. And so I wanted to form an organization for Precinct 7 that would involve ministers. And I formulated the Ministers Supporting Precinct 7, and it's been an outstanding organization. The president of that organization is Reverend Paul Giddings, and he's done a wonderful job. And what they've done each year, they do 3 projects. One of the projects is a job fair. And that job fair this year, we've had it for about 4 years. They about 50 people receive employment on site because they choose a lot of, we work with the Texas workforce, and we have a lot of vendors in Houston that hire, and it's been really successful, and we have lots and lots of people there, and young people come, because we usually have it in about May, right when school is about out, and they come to the job fair and they're able to get jobs at different vendors. That's great, and so it's been a really successful program for Precinct 7.
So just to pause for a minute, so you're telling me that in around May you will be having, it will be another job fair?
We have it every year around May, and we're going to have it this year in May. It's going to be a lot of publicity, and people can go to our website if they want to find out where, but she usually sent out a lot of flyers and everything about, and we send it to the TV stations and radio stations to let them know that we're having a job fair. And another program that the ministers help implement, every year we give turkeys to seniors. You have to be over 65 on SSI, and they sign up, and we make sure they're seniors, and they come to Precinct 7 right before Thanksgiving, and we give them turkeys. In the past, we had 100 people that we gave turkeys.
Is that right?
This year, we gave 150. And we have other organizations that, like one organization came to us and said, May, I want to help you. And they gave us some little package with toothpaste and brushes and all kind of little things that we gave. One year, the Holiday Inn gave us blankets, and we gave the seniors blankets and our turkeys. And it's such a heartwarming program. Some of the seniors that's come there, sometimes they just cry because they feel nobody ever do anything for them. So we have been doing that for the last 5 years.
That's great.
And it's been an excellent program. And another program that the ministers do every year, once we finish with the Thanksgiving, we go out and pick 10 families, really, really needy families. And because we're law enforcement, we're able to make sure you're needy.
Right, of course.
And so we pick 10 families, and we take these families food. We don't take them a dinner. We take them like bread and eggs and sugar and flour, stuff that'll last them for a week or two. And if they have kids, we take them toys. And one year we took a family toys, and the young lady said what she wanted most of all was a coat, because she never had a coat, and we bought her a coat. And this year, Channel 11 came out and aired it, and we took a family food and toys to this family where this lady had just had brain operation because she had cancer, and her children, they just cried because they had never celebrated Christmas.
Oh, wow.
And we asked them, well, what would you like? We gave them toys, of course, and they said, we have never had a Christmas tree.
Oh, wow.
My God.
And my officers went right out and bought them a Christmas tree with all the decorations, and we bought them clothes, and we bought them toys. But with Precinct 7 officers and these ministers, these are some of the programs that we reach out to try to help the community. We know that our primary duties is law enforcement, but we want to do something to show the community. We're trying to keep them safe, but we also want to do something to help them.
Exactly, exactly.
And so those are some of the things that we do at Precinct 7.
Okay.
Well,
Pastor, you have some questions for us?
Let me say, first of all, thank you, Constable, for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And we've had other people from law enforcement to explain also their duties. And what you done on this show today, you helped me a lot. I had no idea that constables and officers did so much. And I think what you did to these viewers also is to enlighten them as to some of the duties and some of the things, charitable things that you do. And one other area I want to talk about, because I know we got a lot of seniors in these older communities.
Yes.
And we're coming up to the rainy season.
Yeah.
And I know there's a great concern when a lot of water begin to fall, and a lot of areas, low-lying areas flooding.
Yes.
And you got people concerned, not only the seniors, but other people as well.
Young people also.
Do you have anything in place, for instance, like if there's a flood zone area and this area becomes flooded, and you got a lot of seniors, do you have a number that you can provide for these people to call so your officer can get to them and get them out of that zone, get them out of that.
I'm glad you asked that, Reverend Nash, because we do what Precinct 7. That's another thing that we did when I was elected to Precinct 7. We noticed that in the SunnySide and South Park area that people were always being flooded out when there was some kind of disaster, and they were never able to get help. So what we did, we went to the Army and we retrieved some of their high water vehicles. We retrieved a 2.5 ton and a 5 ton vehicles, and we got these big trucks with those big wheels that'll go through water, and we have that for Precinct 7. So we've been going out trying to get the message out to everybody in Precinct 7. And not only do we have those high water vehicles, we have boats, we have everything if we have a disaster. And my people work very closely with Homeland Security and the FBI and everybody to make sure we take care of Precinct 7 in the event of a disaster. And one thing, most of your listening community, when there's a disaster or a flood or whatever and they're in trouble, all they have to call is our dispatcher's office, and that's 713-643 6602, because a lot of people think that you have to call the Houston Police Department, but we at Precinct 7, we have a dispatcher. We have the same facilities that the Houston Police Department, but on a smaller scale.
Okay.
Well,
so,
I promise you one thing. I promise you, man, you have enlightened me. It's more now than just serving papers. You're serving the community in so many ways, so many fashions. And what you've done to these viewers, I mean, you have really, really opened their eyes, because I see a lot of things that you've done now. And I knew about some of the things, but I didn't know to the extent in which you were doing an involvement. It's always about helping people. That's the key right there.
And I want to tell you one more thing that this is a little personal to me, because as my son grew up, I was a single parent for most of his life. And, you know, I had to send him to school and send him to college. So when I came to Precinct 7, I said, you know, I worked a lot of jobs for that child to graduate from college. So I wanted to do something that's on a small scale. And what I formulated at Precinct 7, I have a scholarship. I give 2 scholarships every 4 years, but I pay for the kid to go to school for 4 years, and I give them a book stipend. And that's for any kid that's in Precinct 7. But now keep in mind, I only give it every 4 years because I can't afford to pay your total tuition for a whole lot of kids. So every 4 years, I pick 2 kids. I get with the schools, Jones, Sterling, and Madison and Yates, and I ask for some kids and I'm not looking for A kids. I'm looking for kids that might have a C plus. Those are the kids that everybody forget about. And as you know, some of our presidents had a C average.
Yes.
So I'm looking for kids that I know have the potential to do well if they're given the opportunity. So I give 2 scholarship. I have 2 kids, one at Sam Houston State and one at Prairie View. One was at University of Texas and one at Prairie View. And I think the one at University of Texas transferred to Texas Southern. But I'm paying for them for 4 years, and each semester I give them book stipend, and I've had 2 that already graduated.
Wow.
That's been very successful. This is on my, since this is my second term, I have 2 in college right now. And I'm just really proud of that, because these kids, from looking at their background and their parents' background, they would not have been able to go to college if they hadn't gotten that scholarship.
That is great.
That is really
you've done that. You've done that. Sometimes understaffed, but yet you've done so much. And I'm listening to them. I'm serious. I'm really in awe of all this stuff, because I just thought all the time that constable just served papers. I had no idea you did all this stuff. Now let me ask you another question. I think at one time you kind of involved with the Boy Scouts of America or something like that. When you're trying to get in some involvement with those young men.
Yes. I was a former Houston police officer for 24 years, and I was the coordinator of an Explorers program, which is the high phase of the Boy Scouts. And when I came to Precinct 7, they called me and asked me would I be an organizer to try to get some of the community, because they were having trouble in the southeast part of town getting kids involved in scouting. And so I got involved, and I tried to call some of the leaders and people in the community and ministers, because I know Reverend Nash, I called him to get involved and try to get some troops and whatever help they need to get those kids involved in scouting, because that's a really good program. And they do a lot of diverse things in the Boy Scouts. And I've been working with the Boy Scouts headquarters here in Houston, trying to get people in Precinct 7 more involved in scouting.
That's great. That is great.
Now we're winding down now, and what I want you to tell us is, for you to let us know, is that what do you see for Precinct 7 in the next 4 years?
Well, what I see for Precinct 7 is I see for us to try to do more in the line of patrolling the neighborhoods. It's been very difficult. As you know, last year the county caused us to cut 10% of our budget, and some constables had to lay off people. I was fortunate. I just cut my staff back to 32 hours, but I'm hoping that I can write more grants to get more people, and I'm praying that in the future the county will be better off financially to give us additional funds to add some additional patrolling to our staff. But if we don't get that, we're going to work hard to do grants and write grants to get more people. And if there's some programs that we can implement in Precinct 7 to better serve the people. We've written a grant. We had a terrorist office in the community to make sure we know all the areas that might be subjected to terrorists. And we had we've done a lot of drug grants to make sure we help the kids to stay away from drugs, or truancy grant. And we're hoping in for 2012 that we can do a lot more of that. We've written a lot of grants, and we're waiting to see what's going to happen with them. But we're going to try to do more in the next 4 years. And we're going to strive with the help of the community, and because I have a lot of help from the people in the community.
That's good.
Like
That's good.
Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee and Congressman Al Green, they've given me funds to implement programs, and I'm hoping to continue to do that. And I know with the help of the community of Precinct 7 that it will happen, and we will have a better, we will be able to provide more services to our community.
That is great.
And that's good. I mean, all that we've heard today with that you do a lot. You do a lot, and we want to personally thank you for what you've done for our community and for Precinct 7. We want you to know that it's not going unnoticed. We see what you're doing as far as our precinct is concerned. Thank you so much for the programs that you have implemented to help us. And I'm going to make a slight joke. The other day when it was flooding, and we were talking to you about getting on the show, Pastor wanted to make sure you had he had the right number to call, where if we got flooded in, that you would be able to come and get us.
I know he told me.
Because one day it did flood so bad. I mean, we were out there in that water. We stayed at a gas station for, for almost an hour and a half because we couldn't get out. So
yeah, we were picking up on 288 and everywhere, but you know, we had to have people to call us and let us know where you were.
Well, guess what? The Marcel Keys got your number wrote down somewhere. So if we get flooded in, we will call you. So we do thank you. We do thank you, Constable, for the things that you've done for us. I want you to say one more time the number that people can call if they would get into a bind and they needed you to get to them. Yeah, because I want them to know that number.
They need to call if you have a disaster or flooding or wherever. You need to call area code 713-643-6602. That's the Harris County Precinct 7 dispatch. If you can't, just call the information and say, I want Precinct 7's dispatch number, and you can get that in case you forget.
And the next thing is, Constable Walker, tell them where you are. I don't think you said
Precinct
where your
7,
address was.
No, I didn't. Precinct 7 is located in the southeast part of town. We're on the corner of MLK and Griggs Road. We're at 5290 Griggs in what you call Palm Center. It's been around a long time. Palm Center, and we're there to serve, and we have an open door policy. You can come and walk in our office any day. You don't have to have an appointment. If I'm there, you can talk to me, or if the chief there, you can talk to them. So we welcome you because we are there for the community.
Thank you, Helen. That is great. That is
some
great.
last words for Constable?
I just want to say this to you, Constable. We certainly appreciate you coming on the show. Very informative. We've had other guests here, but let me tell you something. You rate with the highest of them with the information you've given us on this date, because let me tell you something, I was in the dark about what all the constables do. Now I see you are overloaded. And so one thing we can do is offer a prayer for you. So thank God for all you do, honey, and you're doing a great job. We want to, I want to lift you up because I know it's a tremendous job that you have before you, and you're doing it sometimes shorthanded, but yet you're doing such a tremendous job. And thank you for the kids and for the seniors. You look out for them so much, and all the work that you do in the community. I just can't say enough about that.
And do a prayer for those officers, because they are the ones that really do the work.
Thank you so much.
All those officers.
We're going to do that.
We want to pray for. We want to pray for all of those. And we're winding down. We want to thank you for joining us today. This has been a very informative show, the SunnySide Community Voice. And again, if you would like some information about anything that we've talked about today, just call our office, which is 713-731-7050, and we will get you to the constable. If you didn't get it on information, we will get you to her if you need to talk to her about some things. And again, we want to thank you for joining us today on our show, and we asking for a blessed day for everyone.